Welcome back to Pastor's Coffee. This is episode 3 of our brand new podcast. I'm Brooks. This is Stiff with me, and I'm just going to jump right into our first kind of section in our ministry component of the podcast. But I've got a question for you, Nate, just right off the bat. Obviously, we've kind of touched on this in our first couple of episodes, but what could you say as far as challenges, maybe some things you didn't expect or some cool things, maybe some insights you give on your transition from college to now being in full-time ministry? What would you say?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before, but I think consistency is the part that I like the most. When you with your job or job as we can call it, you have the consistency of your work schedule. Monday to Thursday we talked about that, 8 to 3. That's our schedule, and then we're doing whatever after that.
Yeah.
And then Sunday and Wednesday, we have church. That's our, main section of our job. And
Right.
so we know that it's going to happen those days. Of course, with youth, we have events on Saturday and Friday, most likely, sports.
Yeah.
But we know pretty much what we're going to get throughout the week. And this is the job. At college, we had college and work and our lives all thrown in, and sports. That's big for both of us. And you were
Right.
just gone all day and just had
Yeah.
nothing, no free time. And when
Right.
you now with a job, we have free time, and we actually get to go home and be away from college, be away from
Yeah.
our work. So yeah, that would be the biggest thing for me. It's been great. So how about you?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. You said consistency. I'd say more so stability. And again, we have talked about this before, but I just think it's so nice getting to know that this is what's going to go on in my day. Now, obviously, ministry does throw you so many different things, whether it's a phone call that you didn't expect or some other assignment that may come up. But I think it is very nice to have that stability and just that everyday consistency is really, really nice. This is a question that I get asked quite a bit, and I just wanted to kind of get your perspective on it just a bit. How would you say, or maybe some insights that you could give on best ways to use your time while you're in the office? You get this 8-hour window, obviously study is a big part of that, but if you could say kind of what you've learned so far, your best way to use your time in the office every day, what would you say?
I know for me, what I like to do, I like to have objectives that I'm going to do throughout the day. I'm not much of I'm going to do this for an hour, this for an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not much like that. That works for some people. It doesn't work for me. I
Right.
like to just know what I'm going to be doing today. If I'm going to be working on Wednesday night lesson, that's what I'm going to be working on. Now, if I get interrupted and I don't get the full hour that I blocked off, then I can just
Yeah.
come back and continue. So it's nice to just have objective for the day. If I'm
Yeah.
reading a book, I'll be like, I want to read a chapter today. If I'm
Yeah.
um, if I'm meeting somebody, meet so and so at this time,
Right.
and I just know it's going to be done.
Yeah.
Now, does that always mean I get those things done that day? No, I
Sure.
still, um,
Right.
I leave buffer room throughout the week. I have 3 main lessons that I usually prepare, um, and I have 4 days of work. So I
Yeah.
have buffer room for all 3 of those. Obviously, Wednesday comes up in the middle of the week, so I can't. Um,
Yeah.
I don't have Thursday to work on it, but
Right.
so that's kind of how I do it. A lot of people are different,
Yeah.
but how about you?
I I think this was a really good question, just with the timing and everything, because I talked to a couple youth pastors earlier this week, kind of about this same thing, and some different struggles of being in the office. Obviously, there's different levels of accountability while you're in the office, as far as like making sure you're getting your stuff done, but on days when times are slow and there's not a whole lot going on, obviously you've got your regular messages that you've got to prepare, your phone calls, your meetings, people you need to talk to, but it's a temptation to just get your phone out and kind of
Mm-hmm.
waste time because nobody's in here with you. You're by yourself. It's on you to plan your day, and if you're getting your stuff done and there's kind of this block of time where you're like, well, I'll get this done at some point. It's
Yeah.
so easy to just get your phone out or maybe kind of go on your laptop that you are working on or your iPad, whatever you're using, and surfing and getting off track of what you're supposed to be able to do. So there is a temptation with that. So I think it's kind of what you're saying is just making objectives in your day. And for me, to keep myself accountable and keep myself right, I do plan out my hours like during the day. From this time, I'm going to get this done. From this time, I'm going to get this done. But it does get, when I do get that done earlier, then that's where the temptation comes as far as, well, I've got this time that I can get on my phone now and can watch this sports event or something in the office. And I'm trying to really do it right, to give it my full effort to do things for the ministry while I'm in the office. Obviously, your job never stops. And after you leave the office, you're going to get the phone calls. You're going to have the events that you need to go to.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as that, managing my time, how to best use my time in the office, I try to plan it out. I want to get this stuff done today. I have this meeting, so I'm put this at this block. But I'm gonna put out everything I need to know, and I'm gonna give it an hour block. That way, I'm not getting off track as best I can. But it does, like you're saying. I mean, it works in different ways for different people. But it's a tough thing, when you're the one having to set everything that you're going to do, manage your own time. It kind of was nice in college, when people would be on you. This is your assignment. This is what you need to do. Instead of you giving yourselves your own assignments, it's different.
Yeah.
So that's a huge transition. You are obviously we're under a senior pastor, so they're our supervisor, but again, they're not down our necks, saying we need to get this done. It is on us, to kind of plan our direction of our ministry and what we want to do with our time. So along those lines, managing your time, you said you've read maybe a chapter of a book sometimes, or maybe you're studying for your preparation of your messages. As far as lately, is there a specific book of the Bible, or maybe a book that you've read, or maybe a chapter or a verse that's kind of spoke to you lately, that you've either studied through or maybe taught recently that you've kind of gotten a blessing from, or maybe learned or got some insight from?
Yeah. The last book that I read was it was Divided Nation by Ken Ham. It was a good book.
Yeah.
It was showing how today his whole thing is Genesis 1 through 11, obviously.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you didn't know that by now, then you need to read more Ken Ham, apparently.
Right.
But it really did show me how all these ideas of today, we got the gay community and the transgender, and the just all those communities where being yourself is great, but according to the Bible, it's not. And why do we get that? The foundation of Genesis 1 through 11. And so the people that think, this is the way that I was created, they don't have the foundation of Genesis 1 through 11. And so for them, it makes sense. And for us, obviously, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so he put that into perspective where before they need to change being transgender or not be gay or anything else, any sin really in this world, premarital sex and everything like that that's in this world, that's okay. But when Genesis 1 through 11, if you have that biblical foundation, the biblical worldview, that will change. And if you don't have it, then there's no reason to change. Without eventually, then reading the whole Bible without Christ, without Jesus, there's no reason to change anything that you're doing in today's world, right? So, he just put that all into perspective for me, that's the foundation I've had my whole life. So that's why it makes so much sense. But when we're reaching people who haven't heard the Bible, the gospel ever, and they're 30 years old and they've been living this lifestyle, their whole life, then the biblical worldview isn't going to make any sense. They have a whole different worldview, whole different lens of the world. So that was in a nutshell what I read, and it was really good. It changed the way I look at people. Not that I haven't heard it before, but the way that he laid it out, especially with his Genesis foundation and everything. And he had the whole lesson series with it too. I haven't used it or anything, but so that's just been for me. That's been really impactful.
Yeah. I'm glad you kind of brought that up. It's such a huge controversial topic in our world and even in our own circles, which is crazy to me. But it is a conversation that's in every aspect of our life now. And I will say this, and you said it, but just to give a further comment on that, Ham does a really good job at bringing this out. But I think our focus is so much on the Pride community and how, because of how different their lifestyle is than ours. But living in a world where we have to identify by our sexual preference now, by identifying what we believe in that sense. I mean, the world has just completely changed now. When we look at that community and single them out and say, well, they're so much different. But then we'll look at, and again, I'm kind of speaking of the judgmental, this kind of atmosphere around our faith and around the world right now. We look at them differently than people who are having premarital sex. People who are, and again, obviously there is distinctions in scripture where one's called an abomination, and I get that, but it all boils down to sexual sin. And yet we look at that community differently than we look at a couple that's living together and just coming to church Sunday. And I do think that's wrong in a sense of our attitude, because the gospel unifies all of us. If we're having to change ourselves before we come to Christ, then Christ didn't need to do what he did. But as far as we have no hope, we can't change ourselves, that we give ourselves to Christ and then he does the rest, then that puts us all at that same playing field. But the problem is when we do have our Christian circles and we get here and we try and justify the sin, we won't get anywhere. But if we call it what it is and aren't ashamed of that, and put everyone on that same playing field, that we all have our stuff that we struggle with, we just can't justify what we're doing, I think that's where that divided nation, like the book is called, it becomes a little bit more unified, because we are all in need of a savior, where we all have sin. And I think that's so special. To kind of piggyback off of that, I just finished up teaching James. We did a series on James. We ended up being 12 weeks. And I kind of divided it up. It's only, it shouldn't take that long, but it did. We really had an in-depth study of it. And we kind of broke it up 2 per chapter. And I just really got impacted by that. It's very harshly written. It attacks everything that you think about yourself. It kind of challenges your faith. And my youth responded really well to it. But it's, in terms of controlling the tongue, how important your words are. If God created the universe using words, then we have his word in front of us. We need to use it. That power is running through us. And so, speaking of that, speaking of forgiveness, how you treat your enemies. So I got a lot from that. And it's been really special. So is there anything that maybe you want to say in terms of your studying that's coming up in your ministry? Some things that you're looking forward to as far as what you're going to get to teach or study? Anything you have on that?
The series we're already going through, Jesus's characteristics, is something that I really can struggle with. I don't have the characteristics of Jesus and all.
Yeah.
So, just his love. It's love is a basic one, but really I have a hard time loving the world, right?
Sure.
Loving the world, and to think that Jesus, the guy who got mocked, whipped, spit on, carried his own cross, beaten, thorns in his head, right? That he would love the world, not just the world he was living in, the past, all the way back to Adam, all the way to the last man ever created that we don't even know about yet.
Right.
That he would love them all the same, not one or the other. That he would love the whole world, everybody in it, and die for all of them. That the sins would be covered. And I think to have even just an ounce of that love, just even a millimeter or a milliliter, I guess, of that love, that would be incredible in a time like this, where we do show so much hate towards this action of sin, and just so judgmental. But when I look at myself, I mean, in the First Corinthians passage where he does talk about homosexuality, he also has liars, and and we've all told lies, and we're all in the same boat, man. And it's just that the same love that he died on the cross for the people that I'm judging when watching the news, or judging when I walk to Walmart, just baffles my mind. And so we already been past that, but just continuing to look at Jesus and all the characteristics that he's had throughout his whole 3 years, and we don't even know the rest of the 30 years that he was even on earth. Just to see the way that he lived, even though openly mocked, openly hated on, more than we'll ever experience, and to think that he had those characteristics. It's been great for me. I think the youth have been benefited from it as well. Just looking at Jesus in general, just looking at Jesus in the Bible and seeing what his life looked like, and how we're supposed to represent it, and why we are supposed to be living like Jesus. So that's been most impactful for me. So
that's really good. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. I mean, while we were enemies with him, on the complete other side of him. I mean, the very people that put him on the cross, that wanted nothing to do with him, he says, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." I mean, this beautiful picture. I mean, we look at how he treated his enemies. This love. It's not him because he first loved us. He gives before he gets anything in return. And oftentimes with our love, I'm going to love you the way you love me. It's got to be both sides. You talk about a marriage, well, I'll say sorry when they say sorry, I'll give when I give, and that's not the biblical foundation of it. It is love first, even if they don't love back, and then continue to. And that's Jesus's love, and that's so special. So I really appreciate you bringing that up. We're kind of looking at some different things, and we'll move on after this. But one thing that we're doing a series on Sunday nights is the heart of God, and looking at what He's said about Himself, which is interesting. I mean, in the 66 books of the Bible, I mean, it's all about God, but it's oftentimes obviously God inspired, but it's human authors writing about God. But in Exodus 34, when he's coming down top of the mountain, he's telling Moses who he is. I've been looking at some different things that God says about himself. So it's gracious, mercy, abounding in steadfast love. So I just think it's very interesting breaking those different things down. The first thing that he tells these people after they see this bright light and can't even touch this mountain or they'll die, that he says, this almighty God, creator of the universe, he comes down and says, I'm two things. I'm gracious and I'm merciful. And I just think that's so amazing. Those are the first two things. He doesn't say I'm all powerful. I'm the judge, which he is. But the things that he wanted them to know first, I'm gracious and I'm merciful. And goodness, for us, as small as we are in comparison to him, as imperfect as we are compared to him, that's so amazing to hear. So it's awesome, man. I'm proud of you, and I'm praying for your ministry. It's going to be awesome. I'm glad we get to do this. But moving on. So I think you're still beating me in our football predictions. So you're going to break the news, but so I'm gonna leave it to you. We'll get into some football talk. So let me know how many I'm down by. It's a long season. I'm gonna get back.
But you are 5 games back, if you want to put it that way.
Oh goodness.
So
man,
your record is 14-18 right now. You
Okay.
did better the second week. You were even
Yeah.
500 for week 2.
Yeah. I didn't take as many risks.
You didn't. No, I was 10-6 last week.
That's good.
Going to 19-13.
Man,
So yeah, I mean, you're not doing terrible though. I
I
mean,
gotta
you
get you.
lose.
I gotta get you this week. I gotta
Yeah,
get
this
you.
week you can do it. You can do it. Maybe not, but but anyway, we can get right into it.
Let's do it.
Well, anyway, real quick, anything from last week? Anything? We did go to the Steelers game together.
Yes, we did.
And
I'll just say this. I'll comment on this.
okay,
Friends. Obviously, I'm the Browns fan. You're the Steelers fan.
yeah,
But I will say I've never gotten cussed out more in my life than at that game, wearing a Browns jersey. I mean, I was petrified for my life. I was relieved when we lost the game. I'll just
yeah,
say this because if the Browns would have won that game, I don't think we're doing this podcast. I really don't. I think I'm
we would
in
be
jail
planning
on
your
the side of
funeral
the
right now.
road. Yes, dude,
Yep.
that was nuts, man. I had a blast. It was my first regular season game, and really, I'm excited to go back. But man, it was tense. That rivalry is insane.
Yeah,
But it was cool. I had a great
yeah,
time. But
yeah. It
yeah,
was
the
good.
Nick
It
Chubb
was
injury. What did you think about that? Let's talk about that.
that just it's devastating. I felt bad.
I was
Our
going to
friend,
say it. Yeah.
our friend Steiner that's his favorite player.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't feel bad for Chubb, but I also felt bad for sitting next to Steiner that whole game and
Yeah. It was.
doing a
Yeah.
first down call in front of his
It was
face.
sad. Yeah.
It
It
was,
was sad.
which they signed back Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. Big move.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Ford didn't look too bad though.
Looked great. I was impressed. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I'd trust him moving forward. Watson was more of a red flag than Ford was. I mean,
mhm.
Watson just
Well,
really didn't control the game like he usually has in the past. So
he's looking at some suspension time now. They're thinking about giving him something for pushing the ref, and then the 2 face mask talk calls.
I was going to say, yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see what that all does, but
Yeah.
it was not looking good for you guys last night or Monday
When
night.
it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah. So
So man, I have a fly in here. Good.
I see it.
But yeah, it didn't look. I'm glad we won. We're 1-1 now.
Yeah.
We got a win
Yeah.
under our belt.
Yeah.
We're playing another primetime game. We're Sunday Night Football.
I know. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Playoff atmospheres right at the beginning of the season. So yeah.
but we'll see. Well, let's go ahead, get into it. Anything else, real quick though? Anything stand out?
As far as standouts, not really. It's just we've been making some pretty crazy fantasy trades.
That's
We'll
about
get
it.
into that later.
We
So,
did
yeah.
make one. We did make one. I got Garrett Wilson off of you, so.
We did. Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, let's go ahead and start. Giants at 49ers. This is Thursday Night Football. This is tonight.
I wish I could change my Super Bowl pick. 49ers look like the best team in football. I'm going to roll with 49ers at home. So
Yeah, you can't really can't bet against the 49ers right now. So
no, they look great.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also picking the 49ers.
Especially with Saquon out. I mean, they just don't really have much of a chance,
I
don't think.
No, not much. Let me make sure mine. Okay, good. Falcons at Lions. So Sunday football, 1:00.
I messed up with my Lions pick last week.
You did. I was surprised on that they lost.
I'm gonna take the Lions again. Falcons look okay. Bijan looks like the best running back in football right now. But this early, which I figured it would be soon, just not this early. But I'm gonna take the Lions in a close one. Just go.
I'm also going to take the Lions. Home field, man. I think they'll get it. The Falcons. We'll just see how the passing game goes. The run game is
That's
set.
the thing.
Drake London, great. Kyle Pitts, if he can catch a touchdown, that'd be great.
Well, if he just got a couple targets, I mean, he's just not getting targeted at all, and he's
Yeah.
open. I mean, you watch the film and he's wide open. So
Yeah.
it's very very frustrating. It has
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
But both online, we'll disagree eventually. But Chargers
I
at
know. I
Vikings.
need you to disagree so I can gain something on you. Chargers at Vikings.
We might disagree on this one.
I'm gonna take the Vikings.
Well, we're not going to disagree.
I'm saying. I'm seeing a bounce back. I'm seeing a bounce back game. Jefferson is unguardable right now. I don't trust the Chargers secondary. I'm going to take the Vikings, and really not a close game.
I agree. I think the Vikings are the best. They're 0-2, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're the best 0-2 team in football right now. So I would take
Maybe
them over
ever.
the
Maybe
Steelers,
ever.
to be honest with you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you play the Eagles, and who else? They played the Buccaneers, right? That was just was just unfortunate. But no, Kirk Cousins looked like stinking Tom Brady out there. So
he looks great. He does. He does. He looks great.
So we'll see. We'll see. I think the Vikings blow them out of the water as well. The Chargers defense is absolutely horrendous. So
yeah, right.
Saints at Packers.
Saints Packers. Saints 2-0, right?
They are. I'm
gonna take the Packers at home. I'm gonna take the Packers at home. Saints look good. They do. I think the Packers do too. I think that'll be a very close game. This is one I'm not very confident on, but I'm gonna take the Packers. Yeah.
Just because they're at home, I'm taking the Packers. I think if they were at the Saints, it'd be a different story.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I think the Packers also look pretty good too. So, this next one, we still need to disagree, but Texans at Jags.
We're not going to disagree on this. I've got the Jags in a blowout.
Yeah, this ain't good. I mean, the Jags. I think the Chiefs should be 2-0 right now, man. Or 0-2.
Yeah.
The Jags. What happened to the offense last week? But, Broncos at Dolphins.
And my pick shouldn't count for last week because my pick was contingent on Travis Kelce not playing. But I'll take the loss still. I'll take the loss.
I did pick the Chiefs, but
you did.
That was without Travis Kelce as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Broncos at Dolphins.
I'm still holding out hope for the Broncos that they'll turn around and Wilson will have a. This is a risky pick. I'm going to give Wilson and Sean Payton the benefit of the doubt, even though the Dolphins look great right now. I'm going to take the Broncos. That's a hot pick because I think you're going to take the Dolphins. This is my chance to get one up 20, but it might be going back. Okay. So I'm going to take the Broncos.
Before I circle it, I was going to pick the Broncos.
Were you really?
I was. I was thinking it might be a bounce back week for him. So if you want to change it to the Dolphins. Huh?
No, pick it. Yeah.
Okay. So you got the Broncos. I'll take the Broncos as well. I think
I'm not confident on that, but
I'm not either. Hey, Russell Wilson's been posting, man. So it's going to be a great game. Titans at Browns.
I've got the Browns bounce back week, even with all the trouble. I'm going to take the Browns at home. Okay. Titans, I just don't really trust right now, even though they won last week, didn't they? But
yes. Let me look.
I think they did.
Yeah, they did. They beat the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Browns at home.
I think they'll still win. Yeah, even if they don't have Deshaun Watson, their backup is kind of nasty.
Oh, he is. He looks great. So, yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think so. I'm also going to take the Browns. We're still agreeing, but I think the Browns will look great. Yeah. Now I won't say we'll disagree on this one because we might not. But Bills at the Commanders.
I'm going to take the Bills.
You're going to take the Bills. Okay. I'm gonna take the Commanders. I think,
Okay.
dude, 2-0. The Bills. I'm kind of worried about Josh Allen.
There's a lot of questions. Agreed. But
So we'll see. I think the Commanders start out 3-0, dude. Which is insane.
that would be crazy. That would be crazy.
They're looking great right now. They're looking great.
They are, and I don't get it, but I just see a bounce back game from Josh Allen. But I said that last week too. So
he did have a better game.
Better, but not him. I don't think. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Colts at Ravens.
I'm going to take the Ravens. It looks like, the Ravens look amazing right now. One of the best teams in football. And the Colts probably don't even have Richardson this week, which is their entire offense before Taylor's out.
Yeah.
I think Ravens by a blowout. Yeah.
If they don't have Richardson, it's definitely the Ravens. The Ravens are also really kind of scary right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, they are. They're fluent.
As a Steelers fan, I do not like it.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's a good one: Patriots at Jets.
Patriots 0-2.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah.
I'm going to take the Jets. And I like their defense. The Patriots just don't have a whole lot going for them right now.
No, I just don't. Yeah, they really don't. So I'm also taking the Jets, which, dude, this week is so close. We're agreeing on everything. So
yeah. So we won't move it off, but that's fine.
Yeah, but we still got teams down the road here.
Yeah.
We got about 6 games left. Panthers at Seahawks.
Got the Seahawks. I'm not even sure if Bryce Young will play this week. So,
yeah,
I'm gonna take the Seahawks relatively easily.
Yeah, well, without Bryce Young, they don't have anything. So
yeah.
And where did they have much with Bryce Hall at the moment? I'm not sure if that's even working out.
Right.
So, it'd be stupid for me to pick the Panthers right now. So,
you might as well pick that one.
Yeah. I think we're both going to agree on this next one, but Bears at Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs by 100. The Bears look awful right now. And I'm not picking the Bears anymore. They've fooled me twice. So
yeah, they really have.
Their defensive coordinator just resigned today. They're just a dumpster
fire.
They're
going downhill. Dude, Justin Fields ain't looking good either. Him and Josh Allen are
weird.
both. Yeah.
I know. And Fields was my early MVP pick. I really did have a lot of faith in him. It's just he does not look good at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's not
still early in the season, but yeah, it's alarming for sure. Yeah.
A game that I think will be closer than most people probably, but the Cowboys at the Cardinals.
I've got the Cowboys. The Cowboys look amazing too. It's one of those upper echelon teams now. If they had Kyler, I may being a home game, but the Cowboys look so good, man. That defense, best defense in football. So,
yeah, I do agree. I think for the sake of Joshua Dobbs, man, okay, I'm gonna take the Cardinals.
What?
I'm gonna take the Cardinals.
You look like a genius
Dobbs
if you're right.
Is not him, okay? He's not him. But I think this week we'll put the Cowboys in their place for a little bit. They are on sky high right now, okay?
And rightfully so, man.
They are.
Look great.
They look great. I hate the Cowboys though. I can't stand them. So I'm hoping that the Cardinals, worst team in football right now, show them that the Cowboys are not it. So
you'll look like a genius if you do it.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong, but
might get a game when you're there. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Steelers at Raiders.
I've got the Raiders.
Yeah,
I've got the Raiders.
I mean, we already know my pick. But
you won't bet against the Steelers. Hopefully, I get a game when you hear.
I won't, unless they play the Chiefs. Then I might have to. I might have to pick the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We'll see how close our record is by that time. But I do have faith in the Steelers defense at this point. I have faith there.
They look good against us.
Two defensive touchdowns. Yeah. Goodness gracious.
It's ridiculous.
I just don't. Now, Mike Tomlin did come out and say that there will not be any changes as of now with Canada. Yeah. And that was apparently the whole stadium was chanting "Fire Canada" at some point.
Oh yeah, and some more expletives with that. So,
we found their new offensive coordinator behind us.
Yes, we did, right behind us. Yes, we did.
He knew exactly what to do every time. So yeah. Football games are just a different level. So
I learned.
Eagles at Buccaneers, Monday Night Football.
The Baker magic has to stop this week. I'm taking the Eagles. There's no way it keeps going. There's no way. I'm going to take the Eagles, even at home.
Baker is that guy, okay? Baker is that guy.
Are you thinking the Buccaneers?
Buccaneers at home, maybe. He's going to read the defense by halftime and know their signals, okay? I do like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
The receiving corps is amazing. Maybe and I still think, one of the best in football, yeah.
Yeah, and I think as long as Baker gets them the ball, we might be looking at a good game.
Let's see.
I might be completely wrong on that one, but we'll see. But okay, what is up with the 2 Monday night games thing?
I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I like just one game on.
Yeah.
But Rams at Bengals.
I've got the Bengals. I see a bounce back game from Burrow and Chase, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the Bengals.
Yeah.
But the Rams look good, man.
They do. Mean,
Puka out of nowhere. Williams out of nowhere. These guys, I mean, no clue who they were coming into this year.
Nope.
And, I mean, it looks like Cooper Kupp 2.0. So, it's
I'm hoping for a very high-scoring game fantasy-wise here. Have Williams and Chase and Burrow.
Yeah, you have a lot of people involved in this game. Yeah.
So, we'll see. I also have the Bengals, though. I think the Rams aren't that great. Their defense, other than Aaron Donald, I don't know what they got going for them. But hopefully Bengals can learn how to play football this week. So, okay. So, that's all the game.
Look it.
We'll see how we do. Hopefully
I get a couple.
You get a couple. I don't think you'll catch up because we agreed on so many, but
no possible way.
Yeah. There's a lot of games this week that are pretty one-sided, but
yeah. So last thing that we want to touch on before we let you guys go, we didn't talk about Star Wars last week, so we have to touch on it this week.
We do.
What do you think about the last couple episodes of Ahsoka? I know that's your favorite. So what do you think as far as what's going on?
I'm loving it. I'm glad I was wrong in my theory on episode 5. Yeah. I love the way that this is going though. So spoilers here, if anybody's listening. About to spoil the heck out of this episode, but okay. But first of all, my favorite scene, I think now, other than, I think my favorite scene. This might be my second favorite scene now, but my favorite scene is the one in Obi-Wan, where Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are going back and forth like with the cut. I think that's my favorite.
Yeah.
This might be my second live action Clone Wars, man. With Rex, dude, that looked so good. I didn't realize it was the girl from Marvel playing Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Young Gamora, I think it is.
Right.
I wasn't a big fan of it at first, but now looking back at it, I'm okay with it. I think that was just crazy. And then first of all, Anakin with a red lightsaber, dude.
It was
looked
amazing.
absolutely insane. So,
Yeah.
but dude, and then they didn't stop it there. Episode 6 was probably the best episode by far.
And it seems like they started a new season with episode 6. It feels like it's just now starting, and we're already this far into it, which is crazy to keep our attention this long. It's been good. It's been probably. It's not probably. I mean, this is the best show we've gotten.
Yeah. I mean, episode 6 was crazy. Thrawn, dude, I'm scared of Thrawn sitting there in my seat, dude. Like he intimidates me, man. If I was Sabine, I wouldn't stand up to him. I would be like, okay, you got it, man.
Right.
So, but dude, Thrawn was great. The Night Sisters, or I think that's what they're called.
You did a great job with all of it. Yeah.
They're creepy as all get out. We're in a whole new galaxy. I mean, we're starting Star Wars over at this point. So, and dude, Ezra at the end of the episode, not what I thought he was going to look like, by the way.
Me either.
I was a little thrown off by his looks.
The way he sounded, though, it sounded like Ezra, though. Like the way he acted, it was Ezra. But
For sure. When he figures out that Sabine basically joined the dark side, I think it's going to be a little different. So we'll see. I'm excited to see Ahsoka show up and see what's going on.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
I'm just curious how they're going to tie this all in with everything that's going on. How they're going to go from this whole Thrawn war to the sequels, because they have to. As much as we may hate it, it has to somewhat connect.
Yeah, I'm interested. I am. Yeah, I'm interested for sure.
Now, I was talking to Redka before. We watch it together. And, well, you do too, but we save our conversation till the podcast. But I was talking to Rekka, and we're wondering, Balin says that there's a greater power that he feels. Do you have any predictions on that? Or maybe what that...
I don't yet. And I didn't catch it. I know what I remember hearing that now, but I didn't think about it.
Now, I just don't know.
I was just thinking about the New Order.
Yeah. I didn't know if he met Thrawn. Did he meet? I don't know if he met Thrawn at that point.
I wouldn't think.
I was thinking it was Palpatine. I thought that's how they're going to connect it all, which I hope it's not. But
that would make sense, though. Yeah.
And that's who I could think of when you're thinking of a big feeling something in the Force in the new galaxy.
Right.
Where did Palpatine go? I mean, he was on what's it called? Hexagon, all right?
Yeah.
Doing the cloning thing. So it probably isn't Palpatine, but
could be. You may be right.
Maybe they're just a brand new Sith.
Snoke.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they decide to bring in a Star Killer somehow.
Right. That'd be awesome.
And that's who Thrawn's using as his big, actually, like, go-getter Sith guy.
Right. That'd be so cool. That's one of my favorite characters. I just wish they'd make him canon.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be fun, man.
Dude, I'm loving it. So. 2 more.
Yeah.
So, but I'll go ahead. I will go ahead and say a story. Well, not much a story, but something I do miss from college. Okay, I don't think most people realize that how much we would nerd out in Star Wars every Wednesday night after church, or whenever you get out of basketball practice, and we would just go to whoever's room, watch Star Wars. Probably my favorite was when Ruby dressed up in the Baby Yoda onesie, man. That was
and we went and got Isaac.
That was great. So so that tied in a little college there for you here.
Yeah,
that's our tradition.
It's a good way a good way to end it. Yeah.
And then Vickery getting, who knows what he thought about the episode.
Right.
He had mixed feelings. But
Yeah.
it's good times. It's kind of weird now. I have to video call you guys to even talk to you guys about it, and then gotta watch it with Albina. She criticizes it. Albina hates Star Wars, so
at least she watches it with you. I can't get my kids to watch nothing with me. No Star Wars for her. Yeah.
But anyway, we will go ahead and end it here at good 47 minutes. If it even made it that long, that's how long we've been talking. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. We hope you tune in next week. You can put your own prediction down in below of either Ahsoka or Star Wars, not Star Wars, or NFL. Anything you guys want to talk about ministry-wise.
Yeah, please do.
We would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again for watching. I don't know how you stick around for 47 minutes of us talking, but we appreciate it. So we'll see you guys next week.
See you all. Have a good week.